Welcome to the station crew. Enjoy your stay.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. This will be another round of Space Station 14, taking place on Wizard's Den's Lizard server. As you can see, I've started as a passenger. I wanted to see how mining inside the station would go, what you could discover, what you could do with it. So you see me go and pick up a pickaxe and get a crate to go and mine. However, my plans are going to be somewhat altered when, as I go through these maintenance tunnels, I receive a not only just an antagonist role, but a die a glorious death antagonist role, which means I'm officially allowed to go crazy. That's why. So I'm currently thinking, what should I do? I'm thinking of breaking to the detective's office to get some cheap armor. I'm not very, at this point, I wasn't very competent at being a passenger syndicate agent. As I really just wanted to do a bit of my own thing. But instead, we get this. A Miku outfit. Which might or might not be relevant later on in the shift. Anyway, I go back to my plan, which I'm gonna be abandoning quickly afterwards, to go for a much better idea, as I have a much better plan of what to do as a dire glorious death situation objective. So I go to the head of personnel and ask for external access in an EVA suit, meaning I'll be able to escape to space when I do my bad things. It'll be hard for security to follow me unless they have their hard suit on. Most of the crew won't be able to pursue me into space either. While we prepare, I do my first round of purchasing. I get an agent ID because I want to be able to customize my name. Oop. We also have external access that we can copy over. Anyway, we also have people using code words to meet up. And I meet with one of our friendly syndicate agents in Atmos Techs, who is also a dire glorious death objective person. Anyway, I asked to see the Atmos ID because not only is it really pretty, but it also has almost the entirety of engineering's access. And one of my targets is an engineer. The other one is a medical person.
Attention.
Now, I make my way to the first solar array. And we start doing our purchases. I look at my discounts, nothing really interesting that I want to, or that is going to be useful for me. So I start with by buying a weapon, the Viper, my favorite, using it full auto because it's always good. I want to wear a Syndicate hard suit. But right now I'm doing the math in my head of if I use this for 8 TC, what else can I afford? That's what you're seeing right now is my head doing the math. I wanted to have an E-sword, but we won't be able to afford one. Also need to do some inventory management because I only have a small backpack. Anyway, I put on some combat gloves because that can be found in maintenance. Syndicate gas mask, not so much, but it's useful. It has anti-flash chain stuff, which is really important. I can see I'm starting to struggle with my inventory management. I'll be managing it I was gonna say off stream, but no, off video. I just want you to see all my purchases first. Anyway, I fit my blood red inside my own backpack, as was the other contraband. I also now think of what to do with the rest of my TC. So I take an energy dagger instead of an E-sword. It's still effective and concealable. I now have 4 TC, I'm thinking I might need to break into places or something. Can't afford an access breaker at this point. So I get a Jaws of Life. And the last 2 TC I'm never gonna spend, I think. Or at least I'm never gonna spend it on anything important. Which is gonna be biting me in the ass because... Mainly I'll be sticking around space for most of this round. And because I don't have a jetpack, and a lot of meteor swarms were happening, I get spaced quite often, and I have to throw out some items to make myself go back on station. So I'll be losing most of my items as we go throughout the round. Where I could have just spent 2 TC to buy a jetpack. Anyway, you see me, I use my custom name, the Solar Killer. My goal is to do some mass murdering on solars. So I'm trying to rack up the 3 kill score, the 3 kill streak. Our first target, a technical assistant. They made the mistake of going right for me. So, with the E-pen, we take care of that. We quickly loot them. I don't need their access because I have the Atmos access copied. So instead I make sure they have coordinates on, which means other people will come looking for them. I don't need their PDA, I don't need their tool belt, but I take it anyway. Because I just now I remember that I don't need it. Inside their backpack, the most important item, the RCD, very powerful, but I'm having inventory trouble, so I won't be able to pick it up. I leave the body here. With cords on and their ID on, so people know on the crew monitor that somebody's dead at Solars, which means at least one person is gonna have to go and check it out. And we go back to hiding. This time with our blood red on. The chief engineer passes by. I'm thinking I'm gonna wait for them to have one hand on the technical assistant, so they're gonna be slowed down and be having a much harder time countering my attack. Also, I took engineering comms. So, the technical assistant is right up there, with the lights on. I'm waiting to see what they're gonna say because, you know, I can hear their comms. And they say, who left their backpack? Now I'm thinking, what? You didn't see the dead person? And they leave. Yep. So I wait for them to leave completely. I'm thinking of saying something in comms. Then I go and see how does it look like. How does it look like? And yeah, they did not see the dead intern. Anyway, it means that I now have to do my own call out. So I call him out. I found a dead technical assistant at Solar. Can somebody come rescue them? Medical, preferably. So I can copy medical access, which means I could go straight for my target and exit. Using access that are going to be restricted to regular security officers. Anyway, a paramedic responds to the call. Not only do they have... I met them on my hop access request. They were the person before me. I know they have engineering access, so I can't wait for them to be trapped. Actually, never mind. They didn't have engineering access. They didn't get the CE stamp. So they were stuck at the airlock. Anyway, I start looting. I take the access. They were gonna say that I was gonna be they were gonna say Nuki, but they didn't get to the chance to say it out loud. So copy the accesses. It was just medical, nothing else. Next, I try and get some meds, but once again I have some inventory management troubles, so I can't pick up anything.
Attention.
You can see I'm trying, but it's not fitting. Also made sure that their cords are on, so other people are gonna come and investigate. There's now 2 dead people with cords on at this solar array. Did a med HUD, so I can see our health. Because, always useful. Better than nothing. I don't take their comms. Now I'm thinking, is this about to rot? And yes, this corpse is about to rot, but the soul is gone. So to avoid the same fate happening to the paramedic, I take off the suit. So they don't rot. But a Medborg comes in real quick. I don't want to kill this Medborg because there's no important loot on it. But I do want him to call off my position. So that people know that I've killed a lot of people, so that I get executed when I get caught. Anyway, I don't think he sees me, or heard the noise, or anything really. I don't have any clues that he heard me. Anyway, we're not off. We have our accesses. We did some murders. I'm trying to get around the station, inside. I needed a bit more items, and inventory management, and I needed to check the station map. The captain arrests us. I have the solar killer ID, which has a Z icon, a zombie. So I try to run away. I am slower because I'm in my EVA suit. And I'll try to go to the airlock, but the airlock, working normally, can't open while the other door is open. And these guys are standing right straight on it, so I can't escape to space right now. The opposite would also be true. If I had managed to be a bit quicker and open the second door, these guys wouldn't be able to follow me. Guess me, I have combat gloves. That's standard maintenance loot, I think. Usually. Possibly. And the EVA suit. And the ZID. And the mag boots. The captain is suspicious. And he's not letting me leave, so there's only one thing left to do. The full auto Viper didn't have time to react. I put on my real suit. And we now have the captain with us. With all access, the master comms key, and other things that I'll be looting. Anyway, I take off his suit because this time I don't want him to be found. At least not too early. Because having personally killed the captain, he's probably gonna go on a full-on manhunt against me. And also if the captain spends half an hour dead in space without being able to play, I imagine it's gonna motivate him to execute me when the time comes. Anyway, I only take the all access. I take the master comms key. I take the antique laser. I don't have space to fit the sword. And I don't think about taking things inside the bag like the master command bolt door thingy or a pinpointer or anything else. Also hear voices nearby. I do need to kill one of the engineers, and I'd like to still do it at Solar's. So I come by. And ask nicely. And I tell them that the captain is dead back there, but actually nobody's gonna investigate that. It's gonna take really half an hour for the captain to be discovered. Anyway, with this done, people are asking the captain about information. I make my way to engineering to try and kill our first target. We have our weapons out. I make sure not to slip around. The C reports that I'm running around in a blood red suit. As the other engineers if they've seen my target. Tries to weld us in. Not gonna be much really effective as I have the welding tools required to leave. Also, the quartermaster, because I've been running around in the blood red, has decided to arm up cargo. And they get the HOS's permission to go ahead. I don't think actually that at this point security is armed. I get reported my location. People think I'm friendly. Mostly because I'm not shooting them all dead, because I still need my real target. The more time I can spend in here, the better. Anyway, with Captain dead, the only person who could access engineering would be the HOP right now, and the engineers. But I'm thinking of the command staff, and the command staff that would be able to help out security. Security could be able to make it in. The AI tries to trap me in. It's not gonna be really useful. If I wanted to, I could just break the windows to leave. It just means it's gonna take a bit longer. Also send some security to respond. But security is not armed yet. Which means I have the time for security to arm to leave. Anyway, the CE comes by. It's nice to let me out. They don't want me to mess up the department, which is fine. I just want one person dead. Anyway, I get to leave. And make my way to medical. Except on the way, I do a quick stop. I have the captain's access. I think I'm the only other person here who has it. Maybe HOP. And everything was bolted, so I just decided to break in and get some drip. And more loot. More gamer loot. Specifically the jetpack. Because I really need one and I'm tired of throwing all my tools away. As you can see, my tool bed is slowly depleting of all its tools. My backpack is also going to be depleting of most of its items. Oh yeah, I ditched the Viper. I didn't get any more ammo. And I have the Captain's laser pistol anyway. So, get a cape. Get a jetpack. Not really much in the other locker. I'm thinking of taking the Captain's armored spacesuit, but I don't. I have something I like better. The Blood Red. It's distinctive. Anyway, we make our way to medical. Trying to look for somebody else. Let time pass. Also, I traveled using space now. So I ask where Billy, the medical doctor is. There he is, he's in the morgue, trying to treat a patient. With a chemist, apparently. So, we killed him. He's already in the morgue, so I just morgue the body, don't even finish it off. Somebody from cargo barges in, but they don't shoot on sight. Not like they have armor or anything, and I'm the better armor, though they do have the better weapon. They ask me if they can get loot. Well, I do have something. The jetpack. And they do have something I want, obviously. A shotgun. That's a nice trade. Though I will be continuing to throw away my items, since I now lack a jetpack and I keep getting spaced. So I asked them, don't revive Billy, and I'm not gonna bomb Ned. At some point, Billy dies, right about now. So now I exit through a solar array. As I make my way back though, I realize that Billy has been revived. Well, now I need to go and bomb Ned. I don't have any bombs, but I'm working. It's a work in progress. Anyway, I try and persuade the crew. They need to kill Billy to save the station and the chems and medical. I also start running out of air at this point. Somebody asked me if I don't. But it's not an option. Anyway, at this point, the captain's body still hasn't been found yet. So, I've killed my first target and working on getting them killed again. Time for my second target in engineering. The quartermaster asks for orders. I know that they have a cargo agent over in medical. Anyway, we make our way back. I need some air, so I break into Atmos. Actually, not Atmos proper. Just the tag, which is accessible to regular engineers too. Now we have our refill of air. Time to look for our target. I leave and I see a security officer in a full hard suit, so I just leave in a place they can't access without assistance from somebody else. And here's my target. I asked them to come to a solar array. They asked me if it's dead or marooned, and it's actually marooned. So we work out a deal. They can stay, I can go and kill random people and die gloriously. I'm now talking to Billy and try to make the same deal with him. Telling him I'm on my way to bomb medical. He has to make a deal. To die or to stay marooned. Anyway, I now have an idea. I need to raise my notoriety as the solar killer. So I go to the bridge, as I have access. The Borg is following me, probably interested in what's going on. The QM is here. The QM thinks I'm the captain. So I announced to the station that I just don't go out in space and you won't die. It's a lie. I was gonna massacre them anyway. But as we leave the bridge, the head of security passes by with a lot of security officers nearby. I try and get another jetpack. I still have my Miku outfit under there. The head of security said that they should probably search me. So now I head to another solar array to exit. I'm thinking of shooting the welder tank, but instead I just make my way out near the engineering lock, so I can close the door. But the Borg helps security. I get near the airlock. I don't think of blocking the airlock by staying in the second door and bolting it. I ask them to stay back, because I have, you know, a laser. Anyway, I get stunned. I was trying to back away into space, but the tracker and the grill would have blocked me. And lag stops me from running away. So we get captured. Anyway, I asked the board that as they've been sticking around me, getting me caught, that they did a bad job. But so be it. We make it to security. And the captain, who's been recovered at this point, spending half an hour, 45 minutes dead in space. Said they should execute us. I am technically, by the definition of space law, a mass murderer, killed 3 people at the very least. Yeah, 4 people actually. The captain, the technical assistant, the paramedic, Billy once, but he got better. Technically a mass murderer, yay. Anyway, the captain says that we're going to perma. Also, you know, many other crimes. I don't know the perma on plasma stations, so I ask if it's the fun kind. Anyway, security never really gets to process me into perma, as they'll be evacing soon-ish. And they need to mess around as I need to be moved out of my cell, I need to have my comms confiscated. Anyway, at this point, I'm trying to make myself as much a nuisance as possible, so the captain decides that, you know, the guy who killed me left me for dead for 45 minutes, and he's a mass murderer. Maybe he do needs to die. So, I try to be not that absolutely not cooperative. Ask if I can be executed, finally. I would like to be spaced, I asked. But the captain says that we're gonna be tortured for information on the syndicate. I don't think torture is breaking space law, but you are supposed to treat your prisoners with medicine. So I think you can torture them as long as you heal them afterwards. Or something. Anyway, I start to argue. Doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to make him realize that this is a really bad idea to spend their entire evac time personally monitoring a prisoner. The head of personnel is over here, the one who gave me my EVA suit and externals access. I tell the captain that this is not gonna be so easy. And also, look at that. A dragon went at Solar. Probably found one of the bodies I left. And you know, there's only 2 Solars, a western one and an eastern one. I wonder which one is. The eastern one is near evac, by the way. And would you look at that? The dragon is at Eastern Solar, right next to evac. Now is a really bad time for the captain to be personally monitoring the prisoner status. Especially since, you know, he is legally allowed and or may be obligated to execute me. A really easy, simple, convenient answer to this current situation. Now the fighting starts breaking out near evac. Doesn't sound too good, does it? The captain can leave me behind because I'll just be free of my cuffs. So he tries and drags me towards the dragon and fights it one-handed. While this happens, I keep trying to escape, constantly. Then, bam, it happens. He lets me go. So I run towards the fireballs, trying to get ashed or eaten by the dragon. The dragon gets a couple of buckshots to the face and dies. Security is never going to be recovering the dragon's body, so everybody who's dead in there is going to stay dead. Which means we have successfully died. Huzzah! That's one objective done. Billy's still alive and Nyx is still alive, but they could be marooned. Except, nope. There they are. Here's Nyx Lightbreaker. And Billy is in here too. But Nyx did make a deal with me. And they want to uphold that end of the deal. But it's not just being crit that does the trick. It's being fully dead. Thankfully, the technical assistant, the other one that I didn't kill, is finishing the job. And so they die 10 seconds, 5 seconds before the end of the evac. Which means I almost got my objectives done. It sure was fun, that's for sure. Lots of fun and excitement. And surprisingly, I was surprisingly successful. Anyway, see you around. Ba 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 ba.